Welcome. So glad to see all of you guys here. So excited to be here and give you a little chat. So my name is Tuan. I'm a professor of neurology at the Mosani College of Medicine at USF. I've been in my profession for 20-some years, so I'm sort of second half of my career. So I'm here to give you the late life perspective on things, more of a retrospective look. And Jonathan here is just about to start his training in a few weeks. So he'll give you the forward-looking or the perspective view of things. So
yeah, so what's really nice with this presentation is that you get two sides of the same coin. You have the old guy over there, and you have the guy that does nothing over here. So I'm about to start my first year of med school, and so we thought it would be really nice to do this together. And really what we hope to get from this experience today is that your career is something that will change with you. It's something that is a lifelong pursuit. And we really hope that in all things, living a Christian lifestyle, that you not only find something that fulfills you personally, but also helps you honor God as well. And so a lot of the reason why I'm here today is because education is something that's super important. I think that as a community, as the Vietnamese community here in America, that education is something that is valuable not only to each and every one of us individually, but to our whole community and society as a whole. To this end, I'm from a northern church, and so a couple of friends from Philadelphia, and we started this organization called the Vietnamese Youth Scholar Association. And what we do is we help kids around the high school age do post-high school planning for college or wherever the case may be after. And one of the big things that we want to do is help you explore what options are out there. And we'll make sure that when you're navigating things like financial aid and SATs, you have somebody there with you that's been there before. So with that being said, let's hop right to it. We read in Jeremiah 29:11, and it's a very familiar verse, I'm sure many of you have heard. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to give you hope in the future. And while we know this is true for our own lives, while we know that God has a plan for each and every one of us, that we're fearfully and wonderfully made for a specific purpose, we also know that as a community, we're very much like the Israelites in this book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah is writing to the exiled Israelites that have been taken over by the Babylonians. And what Jeremiah also says in the same passage, in a few verses before, he says, plant gardens where you are and eat from them. Find husbands and wives. Pray for your cities and pray that they may be prosperous. So, as Christians, this is a very familiar circumstance. We're in a world that's not our own. We're in societies that may not value our perspective. But even so, we have a God that cares for us and has a purpose for our lives. And it's up to us to really go out there and find out what that purpose is. So with this in mind, we have one singular goal today, and that is, how can we create successful careers that keep within our faith?
So what is a career? So if you're born after 1960, which most of us, if not all of us here are, you're looking at maybe 50 years or so before retirement or full Social Security benefit. So that is if you start working from high school. If you go to college and professional school, maybe you're looking at 40 years. And if you multiply that by 40 hours work week, you're looking at about 100,000 hours of work life. That's a long time. And the goal is to make it worthwhile. The goal is to make it so that when you wake up in the morning, you're excited to go to work. And when you get home at night, you feel like you accomplished something. You don't want the reverse situation. You don't want to go home absolutely drained and can't get up in the morning for work. That's the worst situation you're going to be in. And hopefully we'll talk about some ways to avoid that trap. So, participation time. What's the difference between a job and a career? Anybody? Okay.
So a job is something that has temporarily, while a career is something else can very long time.
Very good. Anything else? Anybody else?
Back there. Career is like your line of work, but your job is like specifically what you do and where you work.
That's right. So it seems to me that you guys are trying to distinguish between a specific task versus a path, right? Anybody else have any other ideas?
Job, career.
Okay, and a career is? Can a job be permanent? Well, certain jobs are permanent because you get trapped into it, right? So yeah. So yeah.
Job could be like one thing you do, and career life also many kind of job that in the same path that you go. You take many things, different type of job
Right.
in the way that you go over a long period of time.
Right. So basically what you're trying to say is that a job is laying bricks and a career is building cathedrals. So the difference is doing versus being, right? Remember what Pastor Tim said to you this morning about the story of Martha, who was too busy doing tasks, versus Mary, who was, at Jesus' feet and listened to him and tried to learn and be like Christ. So it's about what your intention is, pretty much.
Yeah, and one of the finest things that we came up with together is jobs don't change, but careers do. Jobs are specific tasks, whereas the journey you take, your career, will follow you for the rest of your life. We know also that jobs allow you to live, they pay the bills, they keep the lights turned on, but careers are what you live for. They are the story that you develop in your working life. We know that jobs shape you, with the experience they give you, but you get to shape your career. You get to decide what's next, what's better, what's right for me. So as we go throughout today, we want to start thinking about what is the story that we want to tell. Pastor Kevin a few years ago talked about when we die, we have our name, our birthday, our death date. And what we're trying to really write today is the first page, the first step, in the story that we want people to tell when they mention our name later on in life. Okay, so with that.
So basically, your life is that dash between the years. So the idea is to make that dash worthwhile.
So with that, we have 5 steps to a better career. First, you need to know yourself. And once you do that, you can explore your options. Once you explore your options, you need to know the world you're going to try to get yourself into. And once you're in that world, you need to work hard. And at the end of it all, and indeed during it all, you stay true to yourself. As Christians, we know that God comes first. And we need to be not only true to ourselves, but true to God as well. So with that, let's start with the first step, knowing yourself. When we think about careers, when we think about our first job or our first educational experience, we need to think about what energizes us, what gets us up in the morning. What's the last thing you think about before you go to bed? What, when you get knocked down, helps you when you get back up? If you have something in your life that you would identify those feelings with, that may be an area that you might want to pursue further. When we think about a career, also want to think about the things that demoralize us, things that make us not so happy, things that maybe will take joy away from our life story. And in articulating these feelings and articulating really what a career would mean to us, we can figure out what will lead to a successful one and what will lead to, frankly, miserable. And so we encourage you to pursue this in a couple ways. There's prayer, there's self-meditation. And my dad's going to talk about one that's commonly used in business today.
Okay, so, how many of you really truly know what all your dislikes are and what your likes are? Only a few? A little bit more than a few, but the majority, you don't know what you truly like or dislike. So there's a psychology test out there that's pretty helpful. It's not the end-all and be-all, but it's a starting point. And it's something called the Myers-Briggs. If you go online, there's many websites that allow you to take this test for free, and it classifies you based on your 4 basic preferences. The first preference is how you look at the world. Are you an inward-looking person or an outward-looking person? An introvert would have a problem in front of an audience, and I can tell you that I'm an extreme introvert. I feel really uncomfortable standing in front of a public, audience, and which is odd because I'm a teacher, right? So when I have to give a lecture or something like that, it takes all sort of energy to get me going. And when I'm done with the lecture, I'm just out. Versus somebody who's an extrovert. They love the public. When they come up here, they draw energy from you, not giving it away. The second way we look at things is information. Do you look at the data on face value? You know, A is A, B is B, or do you look at it with your own interpretation and your own value added? A may not be A, maybe A minus, A plus, whatever. Decision-making process. Are you basically make a decision based on what is at hand, or do you take into consideration other factors? For example, I'm a judge. The person in front of me is dealing drugs. If I'm the thinking type, you're dealing drug, you have 5 years. If I'm the feeling type, you're dealing drug, but given the fact that your family totally sucked, I'm going to take it easy on you. I give you 3 years. So you know that's the difference. And then you look at structure. How do you make a decision? Give me these facts. Decision is made. Done. Give me these facts. Well, I don't know what else is coming tomorrow. Maybe I'll make a decision now, but tomorrow I'll change my mind. And so, are you judging, meaning that decision is made here and there and be done and you're finished with it? Or perceiving, meaning that decision making is a process for you. It's never done. So based on those 4 basic preferences, you can be classified into 16 personality types. And you know, the outside, the extroverts here, and the introverts are inside. And based on what else they prefer, they classify according to different subtypes. Now, this is not equally divided. So you take 100 people, you can't divide it by 16 and get, you know, X number of this, X number of that. It's actually distributed unevenly. So for example, the most uncommon is INFJ, which is I am. I make up about 0.8% of the population. And the most common is ISFJ, which make up about 14% of the population. And it's more common in women than in men. So it's 1 in every 5 men and 1 in every 10, not the other way around. 1 in every 10 men and 1 in every 5 women. So if you look at this room, there's several of you with this personality type. So what is a typical ISFJ look like? So they are very reliable, stable, and down to earth, and they enjoy order and structure. They intensely dislike conflict and confrontation. Okay? So if you happen to be this type, being a lawyer is the loudest job you can possibly have, right? Because you don't want to argue, you want peace, and you're an introvert. So standing in front of the public, courtroom, everybody else, give you a lot of stress. That doesn't mean you can't be a great lawyer, and you can. It's just that you know that in the morning you have to prep yourself for it, and at night you have to replenish yourself for it. So there's a way around it. If you really truly think that law is your thing, you can do it. But your natural tendency make it difficult for you. For example, you're very aware of other people feeling, and you have great memory for detail, and you can relate. You're kind and warm-hearted and considerate. So healthcare profession will be great for you. Okay. What are your negative traits? So people with this personality type tend to have unexpressed feeling, so they're really stressed out when they're dealing with somebody who's difficult. Because they don't want to confront, so they just let it build and build and build, and they come home frustrated. They're very insecure for unknown reason. Even though they do great jobs, they're a good person, they are everything, but they always feel insecure and too hard on themselves, and they need constant positive reinforcement. So if they're working with a boss who is not of that personality type, who doesn't think that anybody needs to be praised or talked to unless somebody is doing a really poor job, they're going to feel really insecure. And if you know that that's your personality type, you know that you can deal with it. So it's important to know yourself. And you know, because of the fact they also very dislike change. So they'll be stuck in a difficult relationship, and when they leave, they feel really, really bad about it. And you know, and that's true for any sort of relationship, not just your personal life, but also your job. Your job absolutely stinks. but you don't want to make that change because you hate changes. But if you know that, you're going to tell yourself, yes, this is difficult, but yes, I don't want to live my life like this. I need to do something about it.
So really what we're trying to get around to is that everybody's different. Everybody's fearfully and wonderfully made. Everybody has a unique purpose that God has preordained for you. And when we know this, we can't sit there and say, you know what, I will be successful when I am X. If I do what my parents said, I'll be Y. Because everybody's different. And everybody has a unique calling, a unique purpose, a unique perspective to add to the world. And so this brings us to our next step. The world is your oyster. You can be whatever you want to be. And since as Christians we know that God has a purpose for our lives, it's up to us to take our natural ability to go out there, to go find it, to go hunt for our purpose, and use our natural ability to meet God's supernatural intervention and find what we're meant to do in this world. Okay?
So explore your options. And basically, I'm taking in here something from the military and also from business. So the OODA loop was invented by a Air Force officer, colonel, during the Korean-Vietnam War. And it stands for Observe, Orient, Decide, and Act. Now, back then, the United States has an airplane called the F-85. The Eastern Bloc, or the Communist Bloc, has an airplane called the MiG-15. The MiG-15 is a much better airplane. It can turn tighter, it's faster, and it's more maneuverable. This is very important in dogfights because when two airplanes come at each other, the faster you are, the tighter you can make the turn, the better you're off. But the United States won most of those dogfights. For the simple reason is that the F-85 canopy allowed you to have a wider vision. So the pilot was able to observe everything around him, make the adjustment, orient himself, plan, and act. And this is not a linear process where you start from point A and go to point B. It's a loop. So you look, you orient, you decide what to do, you act, and you go back to the beginning. And that's how your life is going to be. Your life is never going to be static. It's not a one-point kind of thing, but they keep on changing. Your job description may change, your life circumstance may change. How do you assess those things? How do you find out how it's affect you? What are your plans? And what's your decision? And once you make the decision, it's not the end. Tomorrow and the next day, life will start again. So the first loop, going through the first loop, will get you like 80% there. The second time you go through the loop, maybe 85%. The next time, it'll be 95%. So life is not a standstill process, but a continuous observation and feedback process. And that's what your career is too. What you decide that you're going to be today may not be tomorrow. I know that I'm in practice for about 23 years now. When I started out, medicine is completely different than what it is today. And it will be different 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now. And you just have to look ahead, figure out what's going on, make the adjustment, and that's how you're going to be successful. You don't want to be caught flat-footed.
So when we know this, when we have a specific purpose, we go out to find that purpose, and we are constantly reiterating, looking around us, seeing what the landscape is like, looking inside ourselves, knowing what we're like, and making decisions based on that information. Then we're on the first step to success. But once we know ourselves and we start looking around and have that methodology, we also need to realize which world we're getting into. And no matter what field you go into, whether it's medicine, whether it's computer engineering, whether it's law, there is a specific lay of the land, and you should do your best to educate yourself and prepare yourself and really know what you're getting into. All right? So let's go around the room and let's just name a career that either you're interested in or
your parents are interested in.
Yeah, or your parents are interested in for you. Something that you've been told is awesome.
Like, you're good at me, you have to do this kind of thing. So, anybody want to volunteer?
Yes.
Corporate law.
Corporate law? Yeah, that's a great one.
Anybody else?
Yeah? Doing nails. Anything else in other careers? Yeah?
Occupational therapy.
pharmacy. My mom's a pharmacist.
Okay, we have pharmacists over here.
We have a pharmacist over here. How about physician? No?
Nobody here want to be a doctor? Oh, there we go.
There you go. Yeah, I was going to say, Sam. Yeah, I'll see you back there. All right. Well,
Anybody else have anything that's totally way out there, like non-traditional?
Information technology.
Oh, that's not out of the way.
Shares.
all right.
Anyone here thinking about ministry? Only one person.
And the rest of you, 1 minute, it's not important. It's okay, it's fine. So, we know that the world is changing. We know that today, more than ever before, the world is changing at an exorbitantly fast rate. And what we know is that what used to be true is not true now. And what's true today may not be true in the future. And so, as we said before, exploring your options and being iterative in the way you're thinking about things is super important.
Yeah, so again, this is back to the way know yourself, right? So if you think about a career that make you a lot of money, doctor is up there. It's guaranteed money, it's stable, people will always be sick, and you'll always be needed. But the problem is that when I practiced 23 years ago, when I first started it, you treat the patient, you get paid. Just the way it is. Nowadays, you decide the patient needs treatment A, the insurance company look at it and say, nah, we're not paying for that, find something else. You go to treatment B, treatment C sometimes. And whichever is cheapest, they will tell you to do it. And after you do all that, they'll decide how much they're going to pay you. You know, in the old days, you owe me $50, they give you a check for $50. You know, nowadays you send them a bill for $50, they said, well, you know what, Dr. B, C, and D in your area only charge $25, and that's all I'm going to pay you. And there's nothing you can do about it. Because you know, there used to be 50 payers, now there's maybe 2 or 3, maybe 1. And when they're the only insurance company in town, they tell you how much they're going to pay you, not the other way around. So the point here is that if you truly enjoy medicine, if you truly think that being able to heal, being able to make people better is your calling, definitely, it's worthwhile. I can tell you that. Go into it. If you think that's the way to make money, that's a better way of making money.
And what's telling is nearly half of all doctors said that given the choice, they wouldn't go into a career. So we know that, for a lot of folks, what they thought would make them happy ended up not making them happy. We see the same thing in the pharmacy field, that what used to be considered a very stable and risk-free career is becoming increasingly risky. By 2020, 1 out of every 5 pharmacist graduates won't have a job when they come out. Now, this is particularly troubling considering that $123,000 is the average phone bill. Now, don't get us wrong. If it's your calling to be a pharmacist, to do something noble that helps people and is well respected and will give you a stable career, that's not, we're not trying to dissuade you from that. What we are trying to say, though, is that what used to be true is not true anymore. And there's increasing risk and instability in certain sectors that used to be regarded as highly safe. Somebody mentioned law. Lawyers, for every lawyer that graduates today, there's half a job. Or said another way, for every 2 lawyers, there's 1 job. So what that means is, right out of the gate, you're competing with somebody else for a job, and there's just simply not enough jobs that exist. So while it may be your life calling to be a lawyer, it may be risky, you should definitely go into it, if that's what you're called to do. But if it's something that you could get around, if it's something that your mom and dad are making you do, maybe it's not the right path for you. And that's what we really want to illustrate today, that everybody has their own specific purpose, and there's no clear-cut path. And even the well-worn paths are no longer necessarily as permanent as they once were. So, and that's bringing it back to the loop thing, the OODA loop thing. So I truly want to be a lawyer, but I'm facing the future that I only have a 50% chance of getting a job. So that's your assessment. How do you orient yourself? Okay. How do I make myself look better than that guy over there when I'm going for a job? And you can go to a fancier college, a law school. You can have better grades. You can have better scores. Or you can start by pick out an area where you're going to practice
that nobody's going to be in it. Or you can prepare your path by saying, you know, during this summer, I want to work in the city, I want to work for that law firm. I'm going to pull them up and say, I want to intern with you, I want to be an observer, I want to volunteer. That way, they know who you are. And so when you graduate, you have a leg up before anybody else. And it's the same thing with medicine. Medicine now is really difficult to get in. I don't know why, but it is. You're looking at 5%, admission rate. And what do we look at when we look at applicants? MCAT scores. That's the thing that cuts you out. If you're not above a certain score, we don't even look at you. So what you do is, if you're a freshman, you prepare yourself for the MCAT. You need to bone up on organic chemistry, physics, things like that, so that you do well. You need to break 30. So if you break 30, you're fine. They'll look at you. And then after that, then whatever else come into play. But you can also improve your chance by volunteering during your summer. You need to go and start doing things like, observing and volunteering, so that you actually show interest and you actually hopefully get some letter of recommendation from somebody. Again, this is the assessment and plan ahead thing.
Right. And so what Dad's getting at is our next step. Work hard. Once you find a career or at least the first area of the career that you might want to get into, you need to work hard. And it's much easier to work hard at something that you love than something you hate. And the Bible tells us this. The hand of the diligent will rule, while the slothful will be put to forced labor. This is Proverbs 12:24. It's actually applicable because I know you had this quiz on Proverbs the other day. It's much easier to be diligent in something that you love than something that you really just rather not do.
Or something that your parents love. So.
In the same way, Proverbs 14:23 tells us that in all toil there is profit, but mere talk tends only to poverty. It's not enough simply to say you want to do something. You actually have to get out there and make the steps that you need to get to that point. And to get to that point, you actually have to love what you're doing. Nobody takes steps, off the plank into the ocean. You know what I mean? You have to actually feel called and feel that you have purpose in what you're doing. That's really what we want to draw attention to today. Put another way, the Christian speaker Tony Gaskins has this quote: "If you don't work on building your dreams, somebody else is going to hire you to build things." We are fearfully and wonderfully made. Our God has a purpose for us. He has a purpose for you. And it's up to you to really put your natural ability towards finding out what that purpose is.
But first and foremost, and always, stay true to yourself. You are first and foremost Christians. And so whatever you do, remember that. And so for the Christian career, it means a couple things. Always remember that to put God first, and then also love your neighbor as yourself. And secondly, remember that being successful sometimes means changing your strategy.
And so, I know we threw a lot of information today. You probably learned way more about the healthcare and the medicine application process than you probably ever want to know. But what we really hope to take away is that your career isn't just a footnote. It isn't just your first job. It isn't just what you majored in college. What it is a story. It's a story that you want to tell. It's a story that people remember you by. And what we hope is that you'll take writing that story seriously. That you'll write a story that you'll be proud to read later on in life. And most of all, throughout the process, us, other adults, will be there to help you every step of the way. So make sure you reach out and grab whatever resources are available, and really just think about what it is that brings you purpose in life. And in all your ways, if you acknowledge God as you pursue that purpose, the Bible tells us He'll make our paths straight. So with that, let's go to the quiz.
Quiz time. Okay.
Don't worry, there's candy involved.
Yes. Who is the largest employer in the world?
Google.
Wrong. Walmart, wrong. Back then. What brand of the U.S. government?
Department of Defense.
That's correct. So, the U.S. Department of Defense employs 3.2 million employees. Walmart is actually the largest private employer in the world at 2.2 million. Do you know who number 2 is? Nope. No, Walmart's number 3. Nope. The Chinese Red Army. Next. What is the most common job in North America? Nope. Back there. No. Anybody else want to take a stab at it?
Yeah, no issue.
Nope.
No.
Reese's Pieces, come on. Teacher, no.
Janitor, no.
No. Back there? Nope. We're pretty few of us.
Teacher?
Nope.
Yeah. Office work?
Nope.
The service industry.
More Pacific?
Waiters and transportation.
No. Yeah.
Purple tie? It is a job, but that's not it. Yes. Retail.
Retails. Okay, let's see. Have another M&Ms. So, what substance does the word salary refer to?
Yeah.
Nope.
The amount of money you earn annually.
Nope.
So salary, the original.
The original word salary comes from a Latin word, and the Latin word refers to what substance? No. No. I'm sorry? No.
What was that? No. Closer though.
Wait, what was it?
Nope.
Silver?
No.
It's a
A
substance.
lot less valuable.
Silver.
No.
Big element.
What?
Okay, if you drink too much of this, it causes high blood pressure.
Steel. Iron.
Who said that?
Salt.
Salt.
That's right. So the word salary comes from the word, what is it? The salius pertains to salt. And that's why, somebody's worth his salt, meaning that, you're worth what you're getting paid for. Okay, one more box of Reese's Pieces. What does a cow puncher do? No, back there? Okay, Papa.
It's like the ID tag.
No.
Sort of.
Like they punch like the ID tag of the year's travel.
Okay, I accept
I'll
that.
take that.
So, the people who brand cattle on the farm.
That's what they do today. So the old ID system used to be branded, but now they have less paid for me. So.
All right. Good job.
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, my area and my reason for being up here is I think education is super important, and I know that a lot of folks, when you're applying to college and seeking secondary education, there's a lot of, wherewithal in doing it. And so what a few friends from Philadelphia Church and I do, we help people whoever wants help, just email us and we'll do different things and give you advice on when you should take your SATs, when you should plan to do certain things, and really just kind of help get your house in order in terms of applying to college. All right, so don't feel, also financial aid as well. So don't feel as if you're alone in that pursuit. That's something that we definitely are passionate about, definitely want to help you with. I know I hated the SATs, so hopefully I can make it a little less painful to do.
All right, any questions? Here's a hint. If you don't ask me questions, I'll ask you questions. So. Yes.
How long did you go to school?
I'm sorry?
How long did you go to school for?
I'm a slow learner, so it's not a good question.
When
So-
I was in school, there was no history, so it's still being written.
So 4-year undergrad, 4-year med school, 2 fellowships, 3 years, another 3 years, so it's a long time. Roughly, yeah. Yeah.
How much employees are in McDonald's?
I don't know that.
You gonna work there?
I'll check and get back to you. Good question, please.
Is neurology your passion?
Medicine is. I think neurology satisfied my curiosity. So, I mean, of all the field of neurology, that's the one that makes me curious the most. That makes me always want to learn. So, and I'm a professional student, as you can tell. So,
So for lawyers, like their main job kinda is to maneuver the truth kinda, like lie, just lie about something about the lie, like prosecutors don't have to lie.
Well, it's
Like it, let's say, what was I trying to say?
well,
Never mind.
no, but you see that one end of the law, right? Trying to sort out the truth from
Yeah.
falsehood. But then at the other end, you know, you're sitting there drafting wills and testaments, right? So there's a huge range of what a lawyer would do, as if and as there's a huge range of what a doctor would do. You know, some doctor will not ever touch a patient, and
I mean, let's be honest, you trust me.
you know, so medicine nowadays have this business side of it. So you know, that's what he's interested in. I'm interested in the hand-on experience. So back there.
We say there are any careers that Christians choose not.
What was that?
We say there are any careers that Christians choose not.
Well, I think anything that goes against the values of the Bible. So, I mean, I don't know if I can say anything that's illegal, certainly not. And then there are
I mean, there's something that's illegal. I mean, legal, but you don't want to do.
There's something that's illegal.
For example, you know, prostitution is legal in Vegas, but probably not a good profession. So, you know, and there are, you know, basically there are things that's unethical. So,
What was that?
Do you have any examples besides prostitution?
Okay, so, I mean, it depends on what you, okay, so for instance, as we was pointing out with law, right? There's certain lawyers that will do fantastic and wonderful things. You know, there's civil rights lawyers, there's lawyers who defend the weak and the poor, lawyers who protect the environment. There also are lawyers that do not those things, that may help companies abuse their workers, may help companies do something. So it's, you know, within what you perceive to be, you know, illegal or immoral or not, right? And so there's some discretion, but as a Christian, you know, it's something you should really pray on and focus on. I mean, there's just a doctor, I read in the newspaper a couple of weeks ago that there's this doctor, I believe it's Illinois, he misdiagnosed a bunch of people with cancer, so he can make money from doing
You scam them with the treatment.
it. Exactly. So, do I have any careers on the top of my head? I mean, yeah, you shouldn't do what my dad said, you know, right? But any career could be used for good for that. And, you know, it's really up to you as a Christian, as a person, really, to use your intuition and your wherewithal to figure out whether it's in God's plan for you or not. To answer your question, I would say, like, most careers are okay. There's a few that are very much unethical.
but any career you can make it back, right?
Yeah.
So there's plenty of doctors who do really questionable things. So doesn't mean anything. Anybody else? So what do you guys look for in a career? Money?
I mean, that's a thing.
Okay, so, okay, money, anything else?
Like, when I was thinking of being a lawyer, like, one of the main things was money, of course. But the second main thing was, like, if I could bring justice and, like, help people get what they need, like, the weak get what they need.
Right.
Like, just help out and try to get the justice out.
So basically it's to do good, to help people. So that's another goal. Let's go back to money. How much is enough?
Well, you know, I think one of the great things, if you look at the Bible, what does the Bible say? The Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil. So, like, if you have a pile of money as a result of your, you know, your justice work as a lawyer, let's say, or whatever you do, that's not necessarily bad in and of itself. The Bible says it's the love of money. So, you know, that's something to keep in mind, that just because something makes money doesn't necessarily make it bad. If you do bad things, you get money, that's bad.
So why is making money important? And how much do you need to live? I mean, so if, I mean, I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm not saying I'm not getting on your case. That's not the one thing. That's not what I want to do. I just want to, you know, push you a little bit further along that path and see, you know, where your branching point is. So if a job that make you a lot of money, but make your life miserable, will you stay with it? Well, certain jobs will require you to, for example, you know, if you start out in Wall Street, they give you a lot of money plus bonuses, more than I can make in a year or sometimes 5. But that's your life. You wake up, you go to work, you go home and go to sleep. You're working 100 hours, and they can call you anytime, any place they want. How long can you last? And if you want a family, forget it. So where on that, you know, how far can they push you is what you want to know ahead of time.
And different things suit different people, you know? If you want to sleep, you know, 10 hours, if you need to sleep 10 hours a night to function, job on Wall Street probably isn't your thing. You know, but if you like to travel, if you like to go across the country and do all that, maybe being a consultant, you know, for companies, that could be something that could be good for you. It really depends on what you do.
Okay, so to help others to make money, anybody else want anything they look in their career? Okay, so what would make it fun? Anybody?
To make something creative and change.
I mean, so what would be fun for an artist?
Creating.
What would be fun for a musician?
Play music.
Okay. Would be fun if nobody listened to you? I mean, there's plenty of garage bands that never get past the garage, right? And then there's some that, you know, you're a rock star. You can do whatever the heck you want. So where along that line is the thing that make you happy? I mean, some people would define happiness as having a platinum record, and some would define happiness as being able to tour and be successful enough to tour. So you have to decide where you are on that path, on that continuum, and see what your chance of success is going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what we're all trying to get at.
Right.
You find happiness by doing something you love. And even within the same job, and I think that's a fine distinction. When you think about crafting careers, even within the same job, there are different responsibilities, different day-to-days. Dad, how do you feel about going to the lab?
I wake up, and if it's my lab day or my research day, I'm up and about out of that chair, out of that bed in no time.
That's his favorite day.
That's my favorite day.
On Orgo lab days, There are days where I kind of come in like, 5 minutes late with a coffee in my hand, like, all right, I'm ready to do this. I will never want to work in the lab, most likely. My dad, totally different. And, I'm going to med school, we're going to have like, similar, starting trajectories, but what we want to do is completely different. I think that's a fine point.
But that's related to our basic personality as well. He's an extrovert. I am not. I'm an introvert. So I'd rather deal with test tubes and cell cultures than deal with people, honestly. He's the reverse. So, right. So basically, you have to. So both of us are different, but we can do the same career. We just take different pieces of it, and that's the important point.
And make it your own.
And honestly, the job of 10 years from now are not here yet. You don't even know what the job market can be 5 years and 10 years. Who are the people that make a lot of money nowadays? The tech startup, right? 10 years ago, did anybody know about Facebook? Anybody knows about Google? Anybody know about, any of those really small companies that, billionaires have made? You don't. And that's the way of the future. And things change all the time. Before Facebook, there was some other, MySpace. Nobody heard about MySpace anymore. Nobody uses it anymore. And maybe in 5 years and 3 years, Facebook's a thing of the past, and so you have to continually look at the future and observe and try to best prepare yourself for it.
The big position, it used to be, before positions could actually save people, there used to be professionals actually looked down on. It was like the random guy that came around looking at dead bodies and tried to figure out what was going on. It's a pretty sketchy career. I just came from the museum, I was in California for a week on vacation, and I went to the Getty, and you see these beautiful works of art. Artists used to be one of the most successful career paths. And if you could be, the Raphael or the Da Vinci, you're making bank. It's totally different. And so, you just don't. Here's a question: who is the highest paid athlete in all of history? He's a bad boxer. He's a good boxer. He's a bad person. Highest paid athlete in all of history.
What sport is it?
Any sport.
Any sport. It was a charioteer in the Roman Empire, and those are dangerous races, and he just was really good at driving a horse cart. So the point is, what is successful one day may not be, considered successful in the future, and vice versa. And so you really have to be cognizant that you have a specific purpose, that you are differently wired, differently made. And the God of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, He has a plan for you that's specific for you. And that's what we're trying to get at.
Any other questions? Comments? Yeah.
How do you study for the ACT?
That's a great question, actually. So, that hasn't been around since for a while.
Been 30 years, I guess, more than that, actually.
Okay, so who's familiar with the ACT? SAT?
I hate SAT.
Alright.
I need my mom.
Alright, so
ACT more about what you know in the book, and SAT more about how you apply what in the book into the real world.
that's a good way to put it. That's how many people familiar with tests will phrase it. Both tests are about stuff that you should have covered in your elementary, middle, and high school careers. And to answer your question that you should study for, give yourself, with that test, with the MCAT, with the SAT, give yourself enough time to do a proper course and do the OODA loop. You have to be able to know, okay, am I good at this section? Am I not good at this section? What do I need to work on specifically with this section? So, for instance, the SAT math section, very similar to the ACT math section. There's geometry, algebra, algebra 2, okay? And if you're weak in one area, you need to know that not the night before the test, but a month before the test. You have the time to learn, you're going to be able to do it. One of the biggest mistakes that people do is when they take the ACT or the SAT, they'll schedule themselves for April, right before their senior summer, the summer before their senior year, and they'll give themselves again in May. And the fact of the matter is, you don't get your scores back until like 3 weeks later, so you're giving yourself a week to prepare. So my best advice is get a course. So Kaplan has some great material, Princeton reviews some great material. We can talk more about specific books. But you want to give yourself enough time and enough, I guess, rigor in analyzing what you need to work on, and that'll get you to the next level. You can't just sit there with a book for 8 hours and expect, okay, I'm going to get a better score. It's not like that. And we can talk about strategies specifically, but basically give yourself enough time and OODA-loop the crap out of that test.
And then, there's no reason why you couldn't take it in 9th grade, really. Give you exercise and practice. So take it as early as you can. If you do poorly, you know where you need to improve. And the worst thing you can possibly do is schedule it for September of your senior year, because there's no chance for you to improve on it.
For me, I took the SAT, not the ACT, but I took it in the fall of my junior year after preparing for a summer. I prepared all summer, worked my butt off. And, just being in school and giving myself time to realize what I did wrong the first time, I proved 160 points between October and March with barely any preparation. Just knowing what I did wrong and just being able to work on those specific problems for 15 minutes a week, I'll be able to produce 160 points. Your results may vary, everybody's different, but it's about focused practice, it's about perfect practice, not practice alone. Any other questions? Who's in 11th grade right now?
Going into 11.
Going to 11, 10, 9, 12, other, younger than that, younger than 9, then older than 12. Alright. It's never too early to start thinking about your career and what that story is that you want to tell, alright? And so I encourage you guys to think about that. Feel free to reach out and come up with a plan for you to really work out where we want to take our next steps. But yeah, it's never too early to start, and there's always room for improvement for everybody.
So what would you do if you picked the wrong choice? Try. Let's say you're pretty sure you're going to be an IT person, and you go to school and you can't deal with it. You just absolutely hate it. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Okay. At least that's a plan B. Okay. So anybody here have a plan B?
I have plan B and C.
Okay.
Plan B is to be an accountant. Plan C is to be an insurance agent. Taking my mom's business once I pass my state test.
So do you think that you're an extrovert or an introvert?
I don't mind talking to people,
But if you have a choice, you don't, right?
trying to.
I would pick accountant. No. So if you're an extrovert, accountant is probably the worst job for you, because you're dealing with numbers all day long. You don't deal with people.
I like numbers.
So.
And even within, so you mentioned 2 different careers, insurance agent, you might have to talk to me.
Yeah.
Oh, you do.
And accountants, you might have to be behind that. So even within that sort of realm of, finance and personal insurance and those things, there's still different job roles. It's important to realize that there's something out there for you. And it may not fit under the neat title of accountant.
But the neatest thing about this country is that you can design your own career, and so you don't have to being pigeonholed into categories. You can decide to be something that just off the beaten path. You can be a doctor and at the same time don't practice but be the consultant to the film industry. Things like that. And that's perfectly fine. And what I told the last group is that it's better to be the best in your little niche, in your little small circle, than be mediocre in a larger, well-defined group of professions. Because, it's always nice to be the best, even if it's a small pond. It's always nice to be the big fish in the small pond and vice versa. Anybody else?
Any other questions, hopes, fears, aspirations you want to share with the group? Does anybody know what they want to be when they grow up? What do you think? Okay. Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Mostly just programming or stuff.
Well, hey, if there's no more questions for the good of the order, I say we split up into our individual groups and maybe talk with our group about any takeaways from this lecture. Hopefully there was one or two, maybe more. I don't know. We'll see. And oh yeah, let's close in prayer before we do that. All right. You guys ready? Dearly Father, thank you for giving us this wonderful opportunity to gather in your name. Thank you for this wonderful camp and all the people here in it. Father, I pray that as we move forward from the seminar, I pray that you'll touch each and every one of our hearts, God, that you'll help us find our specific purpose for our lives so that we may further your kingdom. I pray that however you made us, as extroverts or introverts, as people who get energy from numbers or from words, I pray that, Father, you'll help us find what it is you have called us to do in your kingdom. I pray that all of us will find fulfillment and blessings in our careers, and most importantly, find ways to honor you in whatever we do. In Jesus' name, amen.